Yes. We're just getting done with a little Abbott and Costello math humor. Gotta love it. Those were the days way back when. We got better math humor than that coming during the course of the year. Okay, we're going to do a whole bunch of stop and start. We're just going to do lots of translations, a handful of evaluations, kind of preparing you for the quiz and summarizing everything we've done so far. So, first thing you got to do, work on this particular sheet, stop and start, get it done. Then I will show you the correct answers. Okay, so here's all the correct answers. I'm going to go through them one step at a time because we're doing the video, okay? First one, a number decreased by 92. Look, I read that wrong. I thought it said increased. Decreased by 92, it should say n minus 92. Once again, check in to see if you're watching these videos. I'd love to tell you that that this was like some dirty, dastardly trick, but I cannot do that. I just screwed up. All right, it's n plus 92 is the wrong answer. The correct answer should be n minus 92 because you are decreased by the number. Decrease is subtract. So it should be, the first one should be n minus 92. Make sure your paper reflects that, n minus 92. The next, the sum of 89 and a number. Sum means to add, so that's n plus 89. 89 plus n is equal, but we are trying to get in this habit of putting the variable first. In the next chapter, that becomes an important skill. A number added to 36. In this case, they're being very specific about the number being added to 36. So I would begin with the 36 and then do plus n. But n plus 36 is equally correct as we went over in the more than video with addition. They both worked out to 11. Next, the sum of a number and 26. N plus 26, the sum means to add. Next, difference between 46 and a number. That would be 46 minus n, because difference means to subtract. All right, we start with 46 because that comes first. There is no changing the order with the word difference. Okay. Next, the sum of a number and 43. Sum means to add. That would be n plus 43. Next up, the quotient of 20 and the number. So that means you're going to start with the number of 20, and then you're going to do the quotient, which is to divide by that number n. So 20 over n. Next, a number increased. That's where I screwed up on the first one. Increases plus. This time I got it correct. N plus 65. Next, the sum of 70 and a number. That would be n plus 70. Next up, a number increased by 18. That would be n plus 18. Number increased by 18. Next up, 55 times a number. That would be 55n. And after that, it would be 14 times a number. That would be 14n. Then it's the number increased by 65. That was what it's a repeat of the question. I got this question out of a workbook. That should also be n plus 65. And the sum of 52 and a number, that's n plus 52. The sum means add, of course. And 75 more than a number. More than, less than. Last shall be first, first shall be last, n plus 75. All right, next set of problems. I just want to go through here and show you these answers and make sure that they make sense to you rather than have you work on them alone. My son Jimmy works on a charter fishing boat in Montauk during the summers. He does, and on a weekend day, he can make $1,000 in a day. It's pretty impressive. There are 35 boats that target sea bass and porgies. Every day, each boat limits out. That's pretty much true. It means they catch all that they can keep. Each boat catches the same number of fish, P porgies and B sea bass. Write an expression for the number of porgies kept by the fleet. The fleet is all 35 boats. So, since each boat catches P porgies, I got to multiply it by 35, I get 35P. Sea bass kept by the fleet. That would be the sea bass B multiplied by 35, so 35B. Fish kept by the fleet in a day, well, in every day they get both porgies and sea bass, so that would be 35P plus 35B. Or you can just write 35 and then in parentheses P plus B. In the first case, you're saying, okay, I'm going to get my porgies and I'm going to add my sea bass. In the second case, I'm going to do one boat of porgies and sea bass altogether, then multiply by the 35 boats. Both are great ways to look at it, and that's why both answers are the same or equal. Letter D, Oh, and by the way, for those who remember the distributive property, that's a great example of why the distributive property works. Letter D, fish kept by the fleet in a week. Well, you got to take the answer to part C, which is a day, and multiply by 7. So you could do 7 times the first answer in letter C, or 7 times the second answer in letter C. Or my personal view of which one's best is to realize that 7 times 35, or 7 days of 35 boats a day, is 245 boats altogether, times the P plus B for the week. Little emphasis there on these solutions. All right. That, folks, is the end of lesson 4. You can use the rest of this time to take the quiz and to do the homework. Okay? There's lots of time left. I think I gave 55 minutes for the quiz, 55 or 59 or 60 or something, for anybody who feels that they need some extended time, right? The quiz should really only take 15 minutes, 20 minutes, but I gave you plenty of extended time for anybody who needs it.